my dudes? Thanks for hanging out, drinking with two dudes and a mic. I'm your host, Mike, and as always, I'm sitting across from my favorite dude, Gus. What's going on today, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited for the guests that we have in the studio.
Yeah, me too.
K-Bib's coming back.
We appreciate you coming back.
Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for being here. And in studio to my left, we have Rogue Leader, the owner of Rogue's Gallery Comics, Shawn Cousinea. Shawn, how you doing, sir?
Good, thank you.
Good, man. We're happy you came in here. We're going to do, we do our shots here at the beginning of the show. So we're going to do, I don't even remember what I poured myself now. It was so long ago. I think it's the cherry vodka, which apparently we got called girly glasses.
Wow.
These are girly shot glasses.
I don't know if you can see them through the mic, but yeah, they're wee.
They're very tiny.
They're wee.
We thought they were 2 shots, but apparently it's half.
Jesus.
Yeah.
According to Shawn, who former bartender, said they're half a shot.
No wonder we drink so many of them through the show.
That's what I was going to say, because we go through a lot of them.
If it makes you feel better, fellas, I'm fine with that.
Okay,
All
yeah.
right.
You'll see by the end of the show why we do these then.
That's fair.
All right, so everybody, here we go. Raise those glasses. All right, cheers, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Still half a shot? Is that what you think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tops.
All right. Now we do our beer cracks. Oh, shit. There's Guinness everywhere. Can you grab me a paper towel? I didn't expect that to happen.
You're like a 3-year-old in a high chair with your little hands out in front of you. Help me, Gus. Help me.
Covered in Guinness. So, thank you for coming in. We got a little scheduling error there earlier because you're doing renovations at the shop.
Yeah, I'm done renovations at the shop, hence the arm bandages.
Oh.
I am finished. I'm done.
I thought that was just fashion.
Oh, yeah, I wish it were.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, it's 50.
Looks badass. Leave it up.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
So how long have you had that shop now?
15 years. We're
Yeah?
coming up on our 15-year anniversary in a couple weeks.
Holy cow.
Yeah, no joke.
You gonna do something big?
I cannot believe I've been doing this for 15. Yeah, I mean, as big as I can in the times, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, no. By then, you can, they just announced we're going to phase 3.
I'm not crazy about
100
that.
people or something, 50 inside.
Yeah, I'm still not crazy
I'm
about
not
it.
sure what that means even. It's
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
And my nerves,
it's a good sign.
It is. But everybody's going to have a different comfort level for the first little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And we want to try to make sure that we can accommodate all of that. So, Free Comic Book Day, you guys ever heard of that?
Yeah, we were
Absolutely.
actually going to ask you about it later on, yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to bust that and talk about it right
Go
now.
nuts, man. Go nuts.
Free Comic Book Day was supposed to be on the first Saturday of May, and it didn't happen this year. So we decided to get together with the comic shops in town and do like a Free Comic Book Day weekend, where we can kind of spread it out and alleviate the amount of crowd, and still kind of supply the same kind of event as much as we can. We'll just do
Right.
it over 3.
So that's a long history to that thing, though.
It is, yeah.
That day.
It's been about 15 or 16 years itself.
Yeah?
And yeah, I want to say it started maybe a year before we opened, and we've been playing along the whole time. And we used to get a lot of the local surrounding businesses involved, and I'd give them a comic book to hand out at their place, and if they would give whoever came in something of equal value, right? Like the water park would give away 2-for-1 passes, and,
Yeah.
and the art gallery would be free that day.
Yeah.
But then they would travel all over downtown.
Right. Yeah, I read an article said that you teamed up with Adventure Bay.
Totally,
And you
yeah.
gave a 4th one if you go to Adventure Bay or something.
Right, and then
Yeah.
then the next year I added one more place, and then one more place, and I wanted to see if we could make families walk all around downtown,
And
it worked.
Nice.
We were all the way down to oh man. Anyhow, we got them to walk a fair distance away, and each year I would add something that was just a little bit further to see how much further we could get them to walk.
Yeah.
And it worked great, but
Yeah.
but now with this, it's a little bit different. So we teamed up with 2 of the other comic shops in town, Paper Heroes and Cartoon Kingdom, and the 3 of us are going to do this all for that weekend. And that first day, that Friday, we have something called file members, right? It's guys who get specific books on a regular basis. They would have a file with us, and they could come in and get their stuff. So that Friday is going to be set up just for our people as
nice.
appreciation. We're still standing.
That's
after
awesome.
After all of this, we're still standing. So we want to do this right, and we want to thank all those people that helped us get there.
Because you've been through a lot. Like if you opened
Man.
for what, 2006, right? Or
2005, yeah.
So you've been through the recession in 08.
Yep.
You've been through COVID. You've been through
Yep.
a lot of shit.
Yeah,
And you're still here.
Yeah, and there's some things that the general public don't know, like DC Comics splitting from my distributor, which just made more of a nightmare situation with what's going on currently. So yeah, it's been tough, absolutely. And I started with 2 partners. It was me and 2 other guys, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for those fellows. But both of them throughout the years had to go their own way. But
So now it's just you.
it's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get along with the other shops or no?
Let's say this. Rogues Gallery, Paper Heroes, and Cartoon Kingdom are all doing free comic book day together. Let's just say
Okay, yeah. I didn't know Cartoon Kingdom did it.
they have some comics.
But that's so the COVID thing, you decided to do some renos.
Well, yeah.
So what'd you do?
Oh man, you've never been in?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
You know the chalk boxes, the boxes that have all the back issues in it. And they're
Yeah.
all
Oh, yeah,
pretty-
yeah. Yep.
All those pictures have been redone.
Oh.
Every piece of bare wood that you could see in the shop is now Rogues Gallery colors: yellow, red, and black.
Nice.
So we painted everything.
Have you been at that same one for 15 years?
15 years.
Same place.
Yeah, we really lucked out. When my partner George talked us into the spot I'm in currently, there was nothing. There was no art gallery. There was no casino. Across the street from me was an empty field, which we'd throw water balloons at people as they walk by. But now it's the hub for the bus station, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then the university has campuses downtown. And the college has campuses downtown. And then they brought the water park in.
Yeah.
So it all kind of just built around me.
Did you see a boost? Did you see a boost in business with
Which time?
Adventure Bay?
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's a
absolutely.
ton of kids there.
Now,
Summer
mind you-
camps.
Now, mind you, wet kids and comics aren't my favorite combo.
Ah, true.
They're not, but I'm happy to have them. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
They come in, right? So
I'm sure their parents will be like, here's $25.
yeah,
Go
it's not
get
so
something."
bad. And we give away a free comic for every A on a report card. So that's traveled pretty well throughout the
Holy
city.
shit.
Yeah, oh, yeah, we've been doing it for 15 years.
Holy
That's
cow.
awesome.
Yeah, and it travels right through university, so kids are coming in and still getting books with their A's.
So if you're
That's
in
amazing.
university and you have an A, you can get a free comic.
Yes, sir.
That's
I
amazing.
feel like it's harder to get an A in university than like grade 1.
Right.
Yeah.
What if you feel like you're getting an A at your job? Can we
Yeah.
come in with our own report card?
Yeah,
If I
absolutely.
come in performance review,
Right,
can I be
from your
like,
boss? Absolutely. If he gives you an A, I got you covered. Not a
I
problem.
am the boss. Can I just get write my own?
That's hilarious.
I'll give it to someone else though as charity.
Right. Aren't you sweet?
that's awesome. I'm doing that.
So for your chalk boxes there, did you have an artist do it, or do you draw
Oh
it
yeah.
yourself?
No. I have zero talent when it comes to art. We actually have the guy who did it. We can't remember if it's been 4 or 5 times that the chalk boxes have been done, but it's been a lot. And the last 3 times it's been the same guy. And to see what it was to what it is unbelievable. This guy just blew me away this time. It's super cool. I've got pictures I'll show you, but it won't exactly work here.
Yeah.
Do is it just straight up chalk, or do you like lacquer them?
Well,
or?
first we painted every other box with chalk paint, and then we painted every other box with magnetic paint, so I could put up.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
totally. So I can put up magnets and like letters to tell you what's in the boxes and stuff, and maybe notes to people or whatever. But it's so it goes chalk magnetic, and he comes in and he rifles off chalk drawings on these boards, and then we spray him with a fixative, and we hope that it sticks, and then we spray it again. And he just finished the last box today, and it was funny enough. Why the Last Man was the box.
Oh,
Amazing.
jeez.
That was one of the first ones I think you ever recommended to me, and I binge read that entire series. I could not stop.
Hard not to, man. That's one of the all-time greatest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are, I want to say 9 to 12 shelves in there that were all bare wood that I painted yellow, red, and black with some help from my rogue nerds. And that was we finished last week. One person through my door has noticed the paint job.
That's it.
Come on.
I've had a couple hundred people through the door. One of my customers noticed. Nobody else has even.
See, I think that's, I don't know. I've only been in there a few times because, again, I don't read comics, but I've bought in a lot of shit from there, especially for like Joel and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would notice that. That is
Right.
way too bright to not be noticed.
You know why it isn't? Because those boxes look so amazing that everybody walks through the door and they see the new chalk.
That
Well, it
totally
takes it
makes
away
sense.
from
It
the
draws them right to it, and
Yeah.
and they don't appreciate the 87 hours I put in and all the damage I did.
So what did you do there? What happened?
Repetitive
Cuts?
stress disorder.
Oh,
Yeah, from waxing on, waxing off,
carpal tunnel. Or
and then
something?
waxing off, and then waxing off.
All right. Are you saying waxing
Yeah, that's what I said.
or whacking? Waxing?
That's not a speech impediment.
That's the beer talking. I'm sorry. So
Well, it can't
having
be the baby shot.
it's not a
We
Fine.
found out maybe
Fine.
today.
fine.
I feel like we're pulling out the full size shot.
All right, then.
before the end
No,
of this.
no. He's so confident that these are tiny shots, and he's going to stay with us the whole show. You're going to drink with us then?
I would love to do that, but
These baby shots are too big.
I will set it. I'll tell you what. If this goes well enough, I'll be back for round 2,
Okay.
and I'll make sure I have a valet.
Done.
All right,
There.
yeah.
There it is.
We can get you a car. It's no issue.
I got nerds.
Okay, or that too. Do you just say like nerd team assemble?
Yeah, that's all it takes, really.
Um,
I'll tell you what. The coolest thing about my shop, I could at any point walk out the front door with customers in there, and whoever that person was that was in there would take care of the shop for me while I was gone, and they'd wait for me to get back.
And they wouldn't steal anything.
Nothing. They would sit and protect it like it was their own, and I don't know you can get that in many places.
No, I
No.
wouldn't. I wouldn't think. No.
so you find it's kind of like a close knit community.
Oh, dude,
of
I don't.
people.
It's
I don't.
family.
I don't sell comics. I sell community.
Yeah.
I sell a place where all of us can get along. In fact, going back to those boxes, we've been doing those boxes for years, and it didn't dawn on me till this year that
Right.
maybe there was a kid that came through the door at one point and went, "Hey, I'm not on that wall." So we sat down and we planned out every box that's on there this year to make sure that it's copacetic.
Inclusive,
you and
yeah.
your
Right.
community.
Because
Yeah.
nerds have we've taken everybody in for always. That's kind
Yeah.
of right. That's our group. It's the leftovers, right?
The band of misfits.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So we've always been that. In fact, the first gay character came out in the 90s in Marvel Comics, well before it was cool to come out. And then the first gay marriage was in comics just a couple years after, again, well before it was cool to do that kind of thing. So we've always been really inclusive, but we never really worn it on our skin. So figured, what the hell?
So for like a community of people who, so I told somebody you were going to be on the show,
Yeah.
and they asked me some questions to ask you. And one of them, I didn't know if I wanted to ask, but since we're on the topic, I figure I might as well. He wanted to know if it's if you feel like your shop's kind of like a safe haven for people who never really fit in
Yes.
other places.
Yes. That's,
So-
I made it for me.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for being in the bar business, I would have never been a social guy. I would have not gotten out of my mother's basement. Being a bartender and serving tables and interacting with humans made me that and trained me to do what I do now really, really well. Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise I'd be one of those.
I think that's the number one thing I hear too. You'll back me up on this. Is every time we talk about your shop or I mention your shop's name or even you, everybody says as soon as I go in there, the guy's just talking and he's so friendly and
Yeah,
outgoing.
you
And we
can't-
love going in
Well,
there.
so like me, I'm an introvert. I mean, granted, I'm doing a podcast right now, but it's different when I'm talking into a microphone than out in
get
person.
that.
I'm socially awkward for the most part, but I remember the first time going into your shop and it was like instant friends. Like I felt like I belonged there, and
Family.
when I first walked in, I was like, this is gonna be super awkward, and I don't know who I'm gonna talk to, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't just sell comics, right? I sell. There's one thing better than reading an excellent comic. It's talking about that extra comic,
Yeah.
that excellent comic. It's sharing that excellent
Yeah.
comic
Yeah.
and letting somebody else in on the private. This is what's really cool before it goes mainstream.
half of my favorite comics upstairs are just ones that we had a conversation about, and I gave it a shot and was hooked instantly.
I've always had a 100%. If I suggest something and you don't like it, bring it back, and I will replace it with something that you will. 3 times in 15 years, it's been
Holy
returned,
shit.
Wow.
and I do that a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I can talk to any person for 10 minutes, even if you're not a comic book person,
For
Right.
sure,
and
yeah.
and I can put something in your hand that you will at the very least enjoy.
So that's actually what I was going to ask you because I'm not a comic book guy. I tried to get into it when I was a kid. Never. I don't know. It's not that I don't like reading. It's just I don't have the attention span to sit down and read a book. I get my brain starts going elsewhere, and I just don't care. So, if you had to recommend a book to me to get me into something,
You ask me that question at the end of these 2 hours, and I'll have a better idea
Okay.
as to what you like.
okay,
Cool.
fair,
All right.
yeah, done.
So
So
do
what?
like a rating on all of us.
Yeah,
Write a list.
I could totally do that. I mean,
Yeah.
again, after a little while, I like to think that I've gotten my mom, my ex-wife, all into comic books.
Yeah.
When they thought comic books were, I mean, for the longest time, my mom thought comic books were Mighty Mouse and Casper the Ghost. She thought I was reading Archie my whole life.
What did I say? I said Archie.
Right, exactly. So yeah. I think I can do that.
I've got some of my prized possessions are the comic books that you recommended. I've got the whole Lock and Key series upstairs.
So good.
I've got.
Did you like the show?
I mean, short answer, yes.
As a different animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
I had to, I appreciated it in a different way, but I was trying to compare it to the book the whole time.
Can't.
Yeah.
You got to let it at the door, right? I mean, being a nerd today, you got to leave a lot of shit at the door.
Yeah. But I got excited when I saw, I'd see things happen and be like, yeah, that's right on. Yeah.
They couldn't have went as dark and as gritty as that book is. Mom being an alcoholic from the get-go is just super downer, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So they couldn't really play that card.
Yeah.
But I thought what they did right. Just like The Boys. What happens in The Boys comics could never happen on the screen without a XXX rating.
Right.
At all. Could never. And it's already pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are some comics out there that you'll just never be able to see in its fruition.
Yeah.
So some that have been made from a book to a show or a movie.
Yeah.
Do you like it or do you hate it? Like, let's go Walking Dead.
Yeah, I you know what? Walking Dead is different enough that I can enjoy it as something else completely.
Okay. Because that's the one thing I didn't get when you talked to me about it. And you said comics, it's a lot to do with your imagination, how you perceive the story after looking at the photos and reading the text and stuff. So when you see something like The Walking Dead, it's a lot of people have a hard time watching the show because it's not what they pictured in their head.
Right.
So for you think it's different enough that it's okay.
You got to leave it all at the door.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
My job isn't just to sell comics. I have to be in the world.
Yeah.
So I watch every show that's based on a comic book. I watch every movie that's based on a comic book. I read every #1 comic that's on the wall because that's what I play most of the comic book video games.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And to do it well and to be able to sit at the counter and shoot the shit because that conversation comes with, it's like a handshake with a deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So I need that personal.
Yeah. So what's the first comic that you ever had that got you into them?
That's a good question. It was a comic to this day that I don't know what it was. It had no cover. It was a story about Jimmy Olsen and Superman going into the bottle city of Kandor as Nightwing and Flamebird, the superheroes from that world. It was a 1970s comic, and I don't know where it came from, and I don't know how I got my hands on it, but I read the shit out of that book over and over and over again. And to this day, I haven't found it. But when I see a cover that has Jimmy Olsen, Superman, and Kandor, I always flip through to see if that's the one.
So you would remember it if you saw it?
I vaguely remember the story now, but yeah, I turned that into nothing. And that was before I started. For me, it's largely about the hunt for comic books.
Yeah.
Some people are hunters, some are the gatherers. I'm a total gatherer, right? It's finding that final issue of a run that I've been looking for 12 years. That minute of elation, and then that super sadness that comes right after it, because you're like, oh,
now it's over.
My quest is over.
Yeah.
Do you ever get sad when you like sell one? Like, do you ever like kind of like, no, I don't want to let this go?
When I opened the shop, I had 50 long boxes of comic books in my own personal collection. Cause,
wow.
Yeah, I know, I have a problem. My back issues are giving me back issues. So I had 50 boxes. We needed stock for the shop.
For sure, of course.
I let go 40. So yeah, for the first 3 years,
Yeah.
it was like selling my babies across the counter.
Yeah.
Over and over again. And that was 15 years ago. So I sold first Deadpool for $50. It's a $500 comic.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Right? So there's a lot of that. And
yeah, I never thought about that.
And honestly, the 10 boxes I kept were just the things that I loved. My run of Walking Dead, my run of The Boys, my run of Why the Last Man. And at the time, they weren't worth anything. And they still, when we opened the shop, I would have only got $1 or $2 a piece on those books. But a lot of the things that I love, finally Hollywood's catching on, right? So they're kind of worth some money now. But it was never about the cash for me. It was never, ever about the cash.
So I don't want to bring up a sore spot here.
Yeah, go ahead.
But what's the most expensive comic you got rid of back when you first opened? The most expensive now.
First Venom,
Okay.
$50. Issue 300 of Amazing Spider-Man goes for $500.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah. Ouch.
That hurts.
Yeah.
How many of those did you do?
Oh man.
Like the tenfold ones.
I had 2 of those, and yeah, they went quick.
That's the way it happens, though, right?
I will tell you though, when I was a kid, there was the very first comic shop in Windsor was called Paper Fantasy, and I grew up in Amherstburg, and I used to lie to my mom. So we would ride our bikes all the way from Amherstburg to Windsor to go comic
How
shopping.
long did that take you?
About 3 hours.
Oh my goodness. And you lied to your mom about it?
Oh yeah, we take back roads. Like I'd take Third Concession, and then we'd be out on. Yeah, we went all the way around to get there, and we wore our backpacks, and they had 50-cent bins. I had $40. I was coming home with 80 comic books. This was a hike,
You
right?
needed a wagon, pretty much.
So I spent 3 hours in there. They pretty much had to beg me to leave at the end of close, and I just choosing my treasures, right? Choosing the books that I really want. And at this point, I'm hardcore collecting. I'm collecting things that are going on now, old things, whatever. And I bring these books to the counter, and on the counter, behind the guy, is Hulk 181. First appearance of Wolverine for $40. And the
Decisions.
12-year-old me, you can't tell me 80 comics isn't better than one comic.
Right.
So I walked out, and that book is, right now, today, has got to be worth about $4,000.
Oops.
Yeah. Yeah, that was poop. But, I mean, what are you going to tell a 12-year-old?
Yeah,
A stack
that's the
this
thing.
big over one comic book. But it was Wolverine at the time, my favorite character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Also, I wish I got into like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back when I.
Man,
Like,
that first issue.
oh yeah, that thing's worth thousands.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they didn't make many at all, and it's a weird size and stuff.
Oh. Yeah, I was going to say, they
It's
are
kinda
pretty
dark,
standard.
too.
Actually, you know what? They're not standard. I used to have maybe 20 or 30 when I was a kid. And I remember there was a couple that were just slightly bigger, like the resume trick when you go to apply at a job and you make yours just bigger than 8.5 by 11. So it like doesn't fit in the stack of papers. So they always see your resume.
The comic nerds listening to you right now are yelling at the screen. Silver Age. Those are Silver Age.
Oh, okay.
Silver Age, Golden Age, Silver Age, and then current. They kept cutting down the size of the comic books just to save money every decade or so.
Oh, okay.
So they literally are a little bit bigger. And then today, people make them all different sizes just to be different.
So are they more valuable if they were older and bigger? Because they're more rare, or no?
I don't think older and bigger has
No?
ever been more valuable. It depends. It depends on a lot of things.
With I wanted to ask you though, but with like the rise of technology, so video games, everything's getting more elaborate. Everything's on your phone or tablets or whatever. Is there still a market for the physical copy of a comic book?
Funny you should say that. Yeah, there really, really is. For a lot of reasons, actually. First of all, I'm going to lay down my favorite Stan Lee quote of all time. Comics are like boobies. They're fun to look at on a screen, but they're way better to hold in your hand.
Okay,
That's solid.
Way
Yeah.
to disagree.
Well, of course you would.
Trust me, they're really fun. Yeah, there's always going to... You know what you can't do? Hey, man, come on over and see my collection of Amazing Spider-Man I have on my phone.
That is true.
True.
And
yeah.
and although digital comics are out there, and I think they're about $1 cheaper than they are for the physical copy, which is ridiculous, but...
Yeah, because it doesn't cost anything.
Right, exactly. But the minute you buy that digital copy, it's exactly worth $0.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it would never appreciate, right?
In fact, it's literally
Yeah.
worth nothing, right? The minute you buy a comic book, it's at least worth that, right?
Although you could send your collection, I could email Gus my collection and be like, here,
Exactly.
check these books out, right?
Yeah.
But I
don't know.
feel like you'd want to, I think comic books, what's cool about them is you can, feel them, and they have, a certain smell to them and everything. And then
Boobs.
you can... yeah.
Yeah.
They're like
Just
boobs.
saying.
Such as boobs, yes.
Just saying.
They do have a certain feel to them.
Right?
So you think that market's never going down?
No,
Like physical copies.
No, it absolutely will go down. There'll be less people that collect the way people collect today. Absolutely. It's like records, right? There are less people collecting vinyl today.
They're coming back, though.
They're coming back. In fact, you know what's made a ridiculous resurgence in the collecting world? Cards. Sports cards.
Sports
Really?
cards, yeah.
You know why? No sports ball,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
right? So the sports nerds need their sports.
something to talk about.
That's
Kind of
true.
trade. And,
Cards
yeah.
went through the roof again.
Yeah, that makes sense,
They
yeah.
had a massive resurgence, the biggest since the 90s.
Wow.
Just
Yeah, I
because
guess
of
that
that.
makes sense.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, comic shops aren't doing too bad either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're limited entertainment, right? So
Absolutely.
people find new avenues. I think people are finding a lot of different things that they can go without or stuff that they want to try out.
Who knew puzzles were going to be so hot again?
Oh my God.
Oh,
If I
yeah.
see
Oh my
one
God.
more fucking puzzle video on my Instagram, I'm going to lose my mind.
We had to order puzzles and like wait for like 6 weeks for them to show up.
Yeah.
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 I wanna
Like
get-
$60 per puzzle.
I want to get a puzzle of my face.
We got a bunch of Star Wars puzzles at the shop for sale. Just saying. Go on.
You saying I look like Darth Vader if he takes his helmet off? Thanks, man.
I'm saying you.
Thanks, man.
I'm saying you don't.
Yeah, that's
not
all good.
look
That's
like-
all good. Did you do curbside
Dude,
during COVID?
Dude, I did curbside until the government called me and said, shut it down, cut it out. Your day's over what you're supposed to be over. And then I door deliveried twice a week, every week.
Right.
And now we still do curbside. We allow you to come in an hour before and an hour after we're open if you want to do not reservations, but if you want the place to yourself. If you're not comfortable being around other people, then we give you an hour on either end. We still do curbside, and one day a week we still deliver.
Why would they shut you down if you're doing curbside? It's not like the it's not like the public's coming in.
I got a phone call from Health Windsor or whatever.
Someone called on you.
Yeah, they
probably.
did.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
they totally
assholes.
did. Yeah, 100%. But on top of it, I promise you that I had more contact with humans when I delivered to their door than I did with their curb.
But that was okay.
Right? Because they would stand in the door, and of course they're starved for communication. But when it was curbside, I had to go back in, right? So they'd pop their trunk, I'd drop their stuff in, I'd close the trunk, and I'd leave.
Yeah.
But every time it was at a door, mind you, my nerds were excellent. They'd feed me. They'd give me something to drink. Edibles.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, they took.
I want that.
We need more nerd friends.
They took. Yes, you do. They took very good care of me, as they do still today. Honestly, I mean, I'm pretty damn lucky.
All right, so Shawn, so we have a super fan here that's called into the show, and they want to ask you a question directly.
Yeah.
So we'll pull him up over here on the camera if you want to see him on the iPad right there. So there's Tyler. Tyler,
Hey,
how
Ty.
you doing?
Hey man, how's it going?
Good, bro. You?
Good. It's been a while.
It's been too long, sir.
So Tyler's a massive fan of yours, so he wants to kind
I'll
of
take
shoot
that.
you a live question if you don't mind.
Yeah, go on.
All right, Ty, go ahead.
So I get this question a lot, being in this hobby that you and I share that you're much more of an expert on than me. But the question I get a lot is, okay, so my friends who don't read this stuff say, what book should I go out and get? They say, what should I go to Chapters and get? And then I say, don't go to Chapters. But so that's the question that I get a lot. So what book do you recommend the most when you get that question? I mean, there's genre and what do you like and all that
Man,
stuff. What's the book you find yourself recommending the most?
Honestly, I go with what I love, right? I think I got fairly decent taste in comic book fare. So if they want Flights and Tights, it's Kingdom Come, right?
Yeah.
If they want dystopian future, it's Why the Last Man all day long. If they want something new, it's Animosity or Skyward. Both have been killer. And surprisingly right now, Marvel is killing it with some of their titles. Venom has reinvigorated that character.
I haven't read it yet.
This guy that's writing it right now has changed the mythos completely of what I thought was a throwaway Spider-Man character. They've really turned into something amazing.
When I get that question, I use Invincible a lot.
Oh,
Throws
man.
people right off because they've never heard of it, right? So
Invincible is my #1 favorite superhero story of all time. 100%.
You've told me. You said that to me before. I've never read it.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but it's going to be on Amazon Prime.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. It's already been picked up. I'm really hoping they go the cartoon route and not the live action because his costume's very primary.
I think they are.
Are they?
I think they're doing animation.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
but,
I think it kind of has to be.
For those of you guys who don't know what this is, Robert Kirkman, the guy who does The Walking Dead, or did The Walking Dead until it stopped being published, created kind of a almost DC parallel kind of his own Justice League type thing book, but with a really cool twist about 10 issues in. Just a really awesome story, and it's the coolest superhero that, like, I think you said it, the coolest superhero you've never heard of.
Exactly right. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that twist you're talking about, it's really hard for me to get this book in a customer's hands because it comes at like issue 10, right? And a trade paperback usually only has 5 or 6 issues, so you got to invest twice to get to the hook. And I've been reading comic books a very, very long time, so it's super hard to kind of shock me. But that hook was just undeniable.
And it's hard to sell the book to people.
It really is. the primary colors, hit the look, how much he is similar to both Superman and Spider-Man at the beginning. 100%, I get that. But man, if they just... I'm reading his brand new book called Firepower. It's only 2 issues in. It's good, but I'm waiting for the Kirkman hook. It's got to be coming. That's what I'm going to start calling it, the Kirkman hook.
The Kirkman hook. I like that. So, Ty, we got you on air here. We're going to ask you one question. We asked Shawn earlier. We want to hear what your answer is. If you had any superpower, what would it be?
I don't know. That's a good one. And I should have thought more about it. I should have a really knee-jerk reaction. Probably flying. I like to travel, so
Flying.
it would just be really easy. Or
So-
like the Starship Enterprise transporter, so you can just go anywhere. You don't have to drive.
Yeah, like teleportation.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the rest of the table should kind of answer that question.
Oh, God.
It's teleportation, 100%.
Yeah?
If I can just like
never
think
late,
about a place to
never
go.
late for anything, never waiting in
Yeah.
line for anything. That
Is
appeals
that
to
what
me.
you said?
That's what Gus said. See, originally I didn't think teleportation, although that's probably what I would go with. I said flying, only because like I think of the drivers in this fucking city, and they drive me insane. So I just want to like launch up into the air and just fly over to Gus's house real quick,
I think
without dealing with traffic. So, but teleportation's way better.
I don't know if this is one, but I would want to be able to hold my breath like underwater
Forever.
forever.
Of course, that's
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
yeah.
Is that
Of course,
Aquaman?
Hold your
That's
breath would be-
Aquaman.
See? Hey,
Yeah.
I know comics. I know comics.
It's also Prince Namor.
And then finally, follow up, Ty. If you had superpowers, would you be a superhero, a villain, or neutral?
Oh, it would corrupt me.
There you go. Awesome. Thanks, man. We appreciate you calling in. Hopefully he answered your questions.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you, Ty.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Take care.
I just sent books your way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
See you, man. All right, John, here we go. This is the middle of the show, so what we do is a mid-show shot.
Yeah, that
You ready
seems
for another
right.
one?
Yeah, that tracks.
Absolutely.
All right.
Here we go. And you think these are girly glasses, but they're not. They're not.
Yeah,
They're big shot glasses. So all the dudes listening,
is my pinky up? Yes, it is.
that's a personal preference. That's not on us.
It's on your glass.
So all the dudes listening, male, female, here we go. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
And I got a new beer. I'm actually drinking the leftover Land Shark from last show.
I've got a from Beer Day. I've got Bitterburger.
But I bought that because it said burger in the name.
Bit of burger in
Yeah,
the
because
can?
I hoped it would taste like a bacon cheeseburger.
A bitter burger.
Yeah.
You ready? Here we go. Beer cracks. All right. So, all right, Shawn, you, so the way I know about you, not only from like, obviously from October 21st, 2015, but I went to the casino, Caesars Windsor, and I saw Kevin Smith.
Oh, you saw my intro.
I saw Kevin Smith do just a very short, quick 7-hour talk.
I think maybe I'm partially responsible for that talk.
That was unbelievably long, but
Yeah.
I didn't want it to end until like it was like 2 a.m. and I saw more people going to the microphone and I thought,
Yeah.
you motherfucker, sit down, sit down.
I was supposed to tell him to cut it off, and I never did.
No good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It kept going.
But yeah, I am a little responsible for that going down.
Do you know who Kevin Smith is?
Unfortunately, no.
Yes,
Were you alive?
do.
You know Jay and Silent
Ouch.
Yeah, I do.
Bob? Silent Bob.
Oh, okay.
He came to Windsor because this man met him.
That's super
How the
cool.
hell did you get Kevin Smith to come to this city?
Well, I didn't get him to the city. The guy who was running the con got him to the city, and he had come into the shop. But Steve Menzie, really great dude, came into the shop and was just kind of brainstorming and kind of asking what was what in the city. And I told him that I thought Kevin would be a good get, and he is literally my hero. And it turns out he got Kevin Smith with very little effort. But I got a phone call that was a little cryptic. This was pre-marijuana being legal. I got a message asking if I could take care of Kevin Smith for when he came down. To which I was like, well, who
Obviously, you're like, no.
who better to take care of Kevin Smith than me? So I said yes, and then they let me open for him, like to introduce him, which was just super cool.
Yeah.
But the best part was getting to go up to the room and yeah, I believe the reason he went on for, I think it was just over 4 hours.
It was a long time.
I think it was just over 4 hours, because we got really super stoned, like super duper.
You
big.
and Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to smoke with Kevin Smith, which was
It's like
a lifelong dream.
Childhood dream. man.
Incredible.
We talked about our very lame obsession with specific C-rated characters. He and I are the same age, within a couple weeks, same exact age, birthday. He sold his comic book collection to make his first movie. I sold my comic book collection to open the comic book store. His wife was way too hot for him, as was mine. It was they say don't meet your heroes, but he was like hanging out with one of the. It was like this, but with weed.
There you go. Just chilling with the dude.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was super cool, and he was unbelievably gracious, and we had an excellent talk. I couldn't have asked for
So
more.
somebody else hooked you two up. Like, you didn't get him here, because I was under the impression you got him here.
I did not get him here. Steve, the guy who was running the con, needed a headliner. I suggested the headliner. He got the headliner.
That's unreal.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he got him. I was responsible, however, for having Mick Foley at the shop.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice, yeah.
You know what? I think
Yeah.
my younger brother, got a photo with him.
Yeah, he
He's
was
a big fan.
the nicest human being I've ever met, ever. And
Large.
I've met some really great guys. There was a lady that waited in line to meet Mick Foley for over an hour. When she got there, she's like, "I'm sorry, I don't have money. I just wanted to meet you and shake your hand and tell you what you meant to me." And he sent her off with a picture signed.
Oh, shit.
Two or three people later, a lady comes up and she puts down her $20 for the signed picture, and he says, "I'm sorry, it's $30." And she's like, "Oh, it's my last $20." And she moves out of the line. He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Give me the 20." And turns and calls her again and says, "Hey, listen, would you mind? Did you say it was your last $20?" He gave her back the 20.
Oh.
It gets even more ridiculous. Afterwards, we had a boy in a wheelchair who couldn't come up the stairs at the shop, and he's a huge Mick Foley fan. So we managed to set it up that him and his dad could come down to the place where I was taking Mick for dinner. We go rolling into there, and the table's set up, and the family comes in, and Mick goes over and he talks to him and gives the kid an action figure out of his pocket, and it was super duper sweet. And the first course comes to the table, and the mom says, "All right, Jimmy, it's time to pack it up. Let's let Mick get to his food." He's like, "Whoa, I'm not done with Jimmy yet. The food can wait." And we all sat at the table and waited for him for another 20 minutes
Holy
while
shit.
I talked to this kid. It was
That's awesome.
unbelievable. Honestly, I've been told so many times to not meet your heroes, but
Yeah.
Mick Foley was amazing. Mark Hamill was outstanding. John Cusack was ridiculously nice. Jason Priestley was something else. I've met so many excellent people in this business.
So the Kevin Smith, though.
Yeah.
So when you first met him,
Oh my God.
just explain,
Yeah.
because we're massive fans. Like
Oh,
Jay
yeah,
and Silent
right.
Bob,
I-
everything, Dogma, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Smith is just, honestly, to the 1980s nerd, he was king shit. Mallrats was a love letter
Oh, yeah.
to me.
Chasing
right?
Amy,
Yeah.
everything.
Oh, give it to me. I'll take it all.
Great movies, man.
Yeah, it was surreal to meet him. He took it like we were just hanging out, and it was unbelievable.
But you know what? That's the story that you want to hear.
Yeah.
Is that, like, you met somebody who you've, looked up to and watched and followed their career and really,
Yeah.
like, not modeled yourself after, but you've really watched and, like, taken interest in,
Yeah.
in their work. And then you meet them and they're awesome.
Awesome.
And they're just chill.
I've had that a few different times with a few different people. I got to hang out with another celeb, and the guy who was running the thing here in Windsor had called and asked for similar help with another celeb.
Is this the guy we were talking about off air?
It is.
Okay.
right.
So we'll just say, we don't want to give the name out, but very, very famous celebrity.
So I was asked to obtain, I believe at this time it was probably legal, edibles.
Okay.
So I happen to have some in the fridge, so I said, "No problem, I got you covered." And he's like, "Meet at the club," and I went to the club and I met the guy and we hung out, and I gave him these 2 butterscotches. I said, "Listen, have one, but don't drink with it." He's like, "Okay." I'm like, "All right." So I'm like, "All right, did you plan on having that now?" He's like, "No, let's Jameson's." And I would say no to any other shot in the world, right? Because I've already had a butterscotch.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say no, but he hit me right in the heart with Jameson. So
Really?
Yeah, that's my
That's
shot.
his favorite.
It's so gross.
That's my shot.
J-Mo's gross.
I'll take Bushmills on the rocks, but Jameson is my shot. So, of course, we did one, and I turned around, and son of a bitch if he didn't have the butterscotch in his mouth. So we go back to the table, and we're talking, and over comes Samwise Gimji, Shawn Astin.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes to the table, and we're chatting, we're having a great time, and I get into a deep conversation with Shawn about all three of us having wives way taller than us and way prettier. And I look back, and son of a bitch has the second candy in his mouth within an hour. So 20 minutes, 30 minutes later or so, I remember being told that I had fallen backwards over a table. Because this is about 4 shots of Jameson in, because every time the lady came over, he was
I thought you said don't drink with it.
Correct. I totally did. But this is him, and it's Jameson, so it was a perfect storm. And my wife at the time could tell that it was going sideways quickly.
Or backwards.
Or backwards over the table. So I was escorted out with my wife, only to find out that the next day that this party was literally carried to his room by security because he could not make it under his own steam.
But wait, okay, so during your story, though, you just kind of brushed over the fact. You were talking is it Shawn Astin Green?
Yeah. No, Shawn. We're talking Frodo's best friend.
Rudy.
Samwise Rudy.
Yeah.
Shawn Austin.
Austin. Yeah.
I thought it was Shawn
right?
Astin Green.
No, that's the dude from
90210.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about.
Oh, Rudy. Okay. All right, Shawn. Something we like to do on the show is called rapid fire questions. So we're going to ask you a bunch of random, it could be anything. First thing comes to your mind, don't overthink it.
Copy that.
Cool?
Yep.
If you could teleport anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Amsterdam.
Do you have a nickname?
Yes.
That's your nickname?
No.
You don't want to say?
Yes.
What's your nickname?
Next question.
Yeah.
Do you always wear your seatbelt?
Always.
How do you cook your steak?
Mid-rare.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, medium rare.
Yeah.
Sure.
What store do you shop at the most? And you can't say your own.
Poop. I guess that would be Joseph's.
Okay. If you weren't doing what you do now, what would you be doing?
That's a really good question. Probably still bartending and waiting tables. Sadly.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up?
Open my eyes.
That's amazing.
Good, yeah.
Okay, you win. What color is your toothbrush?
Pink.
Shower or bath?
Shower.
This is going to be tricky. What's your favorite board game?
Shadows over Camelot.
Oh, okay. I thought it would take a lot more thought process on that.
It's a game we play a lot.
Window or aisle seat?
I don't care.
Beaches or snow?
Snow over beaches.
Okay. What's your pet peeve?
Lack of consideration.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Coffee.
Do you have a favorite food?
Coffee.
Nice. All right, so now these ones are tailored just for you. So what's one comic story that hasn't been made into a movie that you want to see done?
Why the Last Man? Easily.
Solid choice.
Yeah, it's in my top 3 all time, and it was made for episodic television. And they've tried a couple times. It just hasn't come to fruition yet.
Fair enough. What's your most prized possession?
Oh, man. That's a tough... I have an original piece of art of my favorite superhero from the guy who created said superhero. It's a picture of Longshot by an artist named Art Adams. And he was exactly my age when I bought the book. Like, we're off by a couple weeks, but he was literally my age when he drew this book.
Oh, wow.
And he drew it for me, so...
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
What's the most expensive thing you've ever sold or mediated?
Oh, man. I've done full collections, like a couple grand here and there. I just did a $3,000 sale yesterday.
What was it?
It was a stack of Daredevil comics from issue like 10 to in the 200s, but a smattering of it all.
Yeah.
And that was just one sale. But one item, I guess $2,800 for first appearance of Wolverine, Hulk 181.
Holy crap. If you were a mutant, what would your power be?
Luck.
And if you had a superpower, would you be a superhero, villain, or neutral?
Yeah, I'd like to tell you that I'd be I'd really like to be the bad guy, but damn it.
You don't have it in you.
I don't have it in me. Every time there's a video game where you can play as a good guy or a bad guy, I play out first as a good guy. And I'm like, I'm always going to go back and play as a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I go back, and the first time they tell me to be mean to an animal, I'm like, fuck, I can't be that. I just can't do it.
You don't have it in you.
I just don't.
Well, there we go. That's the rapid fire Shawn Cousinea. Thanks for doing that, sir. We appreciate you. We've been sitting here for about 2 hours now.
Yeah.
You said at the beginning of the show,
Yeah.
you wanted to get to know me, hang out with me for a little bit, and then recommend a book.
Yeah.
So now, knowing that I'm a Back to the Future fan,
Yeah.
knowing that I have never read a comic book in my life.
Oh, Chrononauts.
Yeah?
Chrononauts is this silly, ridiculous, time-traveling adventure about these two guys that are pretty Bill and Ted-ish.
Okay, yeah.
But super fun. That's where I would throw you with a beer to read, for sure.
I don't drink, though.
But but for a serious read, man, they're...
Sheltered.
I fucking love Shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah? What was
Yeah.
what was the one you said the last chalk drawing today?
Why the Last Man?
Why
Yeah,
the Last
yeah.
Man?
So Why
I think
the
you
La-
would love that.
You
Why-
said I would like it.
Okay, so Why the Last Man is a super cool story. It's about this guy named Yorick and his pet monkey named Ampersand.
I love monkeys.
I wish
Who
it was
doesn't
Mindy.
love monkeys? So it's about him and Ampersand, and they wake up one day, and every male of every species on the planet dies. So it's about him and his male monkey searching for his girlfriend in a world run by women. It's just about a guy.
Kind of sounds like a nightmare, to be
No,
honest
no,
with you.
it's-
Excuse me? Excuse
honestly,
Saw that coming.
at times it is, and the Amazons, and the Amazons come back, and there's some horrible things that these ladies do, but there's also some amazing things, and it is just a journey about a dude trying to make it to his girl, and then realizing when he gets there that that's not what it's all about.
Is it emotional?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
When there's that many women in it?
Honestly, there is no shortage of books that would make you cry in the comic book store.
Yeah.
Pride of Baghdad will make you cry like a little girl. It made me cry like a
The
little
4 series, I can't remember what it was the dogs.
girl. Red Rover Charlie.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That was brutal.
it's all German to me. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, it's just another. It's a story about 3 dogs. They're the best friends, and it's the end of the world, and humans have gone crazy, and they just try to make it through,
Okay.
and it doesn't.
So what are the 3? What'd you say? What was the first one?
Chrononauts.
Chrononauts.
Which I think would be super cool for you. Why the Last Man? Absolutely. But
Okay.
but I'd want to throw you some superhero stuff. I'd really want you to.
You know what? Here's the other thing for me. So like I know a lot of guys. The only thing I can relate to is working out. I know a lot of guys that start at the gym. They're like, I'm too intimidated. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to get into it, and they feel uncomfortable going into that realm, right?
Yeah.
I'm the same way with comics. I have no idea. There's so many fucking books. I don't know. Do I start at at what are they episodes? Issues?
Yeah.
Issue like 106.
Sure.
Issue 2,
Yeah.
issue 45. I don't know where to go, and it just seems very overwhelming to try to get into a story where you have no idea where to start.
Have you watched a lot of nerd TV shows? Have you done The Boys?
The which one?
The Boys.
The Voice?
The Boys.
No.
Yeah, you got to
He's done the voice, just
So-
not the boys.
But see, like I stick to Why the Last Man because you have the beginning and you have the conclusion. You don't have to wait for the end. I think you're the type of personality that needs to read the entire series.
Yeah, start to finish.
That
That's
is-
the thing is jumping into a TV show with the start in the middle. I can't because I don't know what happened before,
No.
and it will weigh on my mind.
Yeah. No, I think that's why that's perfect for you.
Right. A lot of books do have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it isn't Batman who has 875
Right, yeah.
issues, right? And I would never put a new guy in that direction. I'd start him with Batman Year 1 or something along that
Yeah.
lines. But judging from your sense of humor and your love of Guinness, I would totally put The Boys in front of you.
Okay.
The Boys is a black ops military team that take out superhero teams that have gone off the rails.
Ooh.
And gone off the rails.
Okay, that sounds pretty
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah,
That
sounds-
actually,
that
yeah.
sounds
Like that
your
sparked-
kind of comic
And
book.
and the main character is drawn to look just like Simon Pegg.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, Shaun of the Dead.
Right, correct.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
And what's that? What's the Mile Walk? World's End.
Yeah.
right,
World's End. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So Simon Pegg is actually in the TV show playing the father of that character named Huey. But the comic is irreverent and super dirty, and they could never do the things that happen in this comic book on TV or even in a movie without it getting at least a XXX rating.
Whoa.
Because of the shock value of that and what I know about you now, that's
Yeah.
totally the book I'd put in your hand.
Done.
And
What was
for-
it called?
The Boys.
Boys.
And for you, I'd give you Marked. Because you're in the beauty and fashion world, there's a book about a tattoo artist that lives in that creative world that I think you would really dig, and it's a really strong female lead.
Cool.
As well as Skyward, which is a book where one day gravity just fucks off. The world has no gravity. And it's about humans trying to live in a world without gravity, and they use things like guns to propel themselves to cross town with a shot of a gun, and you go, phew.
So, do you have these books in your store?
What kind of guy would I be if I did?
Okay, so we're gonna. We
So
have
we're
to,
all
like,
going. Of
We
course.
gotta go and
Yeah.
grab them.
We're going.
Oh, and if
Wait,
you
Mike
I'm
goes
not
live.
paying like
Yeah.
$4,000 for it.
No,
though.
in
Okay.
fact, the first trade paperback, and a lot of times with a lot of the companies, the first one's super cheap, right? They get you
Okay.
for like $12 or $13,
Cool.
and then the second one's like 28.
There it
42.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
I had
have
that-
like a compendium
I-
of the boys, or like do you
No,
have like a...
no, but thicker volumes now that
you?
have 3 in one. Yeah, and it's got the a bunch of the comic book stuff. In fact, a couple of them are even signed.
I think I have to pick that up.
It's real.
Yeah.
You know, it's Garth Ennis, right? Same guy that did Preacher.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, same guy
yeah.
that did Rover Red Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta.
See, Mike?
Sold.
We can get
So I'll give it a
Dusty
shot.
out.
I'll give it a shot.
Preacher-
We'll have a reading corner set up over
Yeah.
here in the studio.
Preacher
We'll
is
just have quiet time.
Preacher is about a guy who finds out that on the 7th day God doesn't rest. He quits. He's
What?
like,
Like gives up?
yeah, he's like, I fucked this up so bad I'm out.
Oh,
and it's about this priest hunting down God with his
Yeah.
best friend, the drunken Irish vampire, and his girlfriend, the hitman. It's a road traveling hero story,
That
and
sounds bananas, though.
and it's written by the same guy that writes The Boys.
That's
done.
awesome.
Done.
Yeah,
Done.
yeah.
See, that is my humor. You nailed it.
Yep, I know.
For sure.
I
I'm
know.
done. That's it. The
See,
boys.
and that's all I need is a little time with somebody to definitely get something, and it will keep your attention. The art is something.
Fuck it. There we go.
Yeah.
Now we have a
Let's go.
podcast date.
Yeah.
We
There
do.
you go.
Yeah,
We'll go get these
No,
books.
We can
Hey.
go get the comic books.
You could, if you wanted to do it on the road, you could record it in the
We should.
shop.
We should
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
Mike
that's a
Does Live.
great
We'll film
idea.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Our
We could
first Mike Does Live. Yeah.
You can do it.
Do a tour of your shop?
Yeah, you can do it.
Would
an
you
hour.
do that?
Yeah, of course. You can do it an hour before we open or an hour after we leave. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, done.
Fuck yeah.
Easy peasy.
You know what? Because the last time I went upstairs.
And then you can
In
have
your
me
store.
back after you read the books.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
oh,
a great
yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely down. I'll read for you.
All right, excellent. I'll take that.
I will read for you too, Sean.
There's another great book. You're an animal person. I saw the tattoo on your foot. There's a book called One Day in the World, all the animals wake up and they have sentience, and they're pretty pissed at how we've treated them. Animosity, it's called, and it's about this little girl and her pet basset hound just trying to make it through, but all the house pets
Yeah.
are all super into their owners, like they're
Okay.
there to help, but everything like livestock and everything are out to kill humans.
Wow.
And the art is beautiful and the story is killer.
I honestly love animals. You're completely right.
Yeah.
So, Sean, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
If somebody wants to know one word of advice about your shop, something to make them feel comfortable to come in, what's the one thing that you would tell them?
Inclusive?
Yeah.
Inclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the one word. Inclusive.
Community, family.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I mean,
There is no oddity.
there isn't, right?
Yeah.
There's really nothing we haven't seen, and no one who isn't welcome.
So kind of put your anxiety bullshit at the door and just fucking go in.
I will tell you, when I opened, it was expected that my clientele base was going to be 8 to 88 white boys. That was what I knew of comics. That was what I'd seen of comics. But happy to report that that's not the case at all. We have every color of the
Yeah.
rainbow, every sexual orientation. I've got 4-year-olds and 90-year-olds. I have this beautiful couple in their 80s that come in holding hands and pick out comics, and it's just the cutest
That's
thing in the
unreal.
world.
Cute.
Yeah. And it's not just for one person. It's kind of for everybody, which I really dig.
What's the black guy? The really he was on, was it Netflix? Luke Cage.
Oh, Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
Yeah,
There you go.
He's fantastic.
There you go. So that's exactly it. That breaks the mold of white boy, right? Like now you've got this fucking massive dude.
Oh man,
Well, I mean,
black dude.
but
Hey, you've got like Black Panther.
But you know-
that was the
Oh, that's
original
true.
one.
right, and
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and that was the '60s, guys.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
remember. In fact, the guy who drew Black Panther, Jack Kirby, the execs went to him and said, "Listen, you know, you gotta draw more white people in this comic book." And he's like, "Okay." And the next issue was a Ku Klux Klan issue, and he had a ton of white people. But
Controversial.
right?
Yeah.
You know what? Marvel Comics has been controversial from the get-go. The
Yeah.
X-Men is about not fitting in.
Are we gonna break? Are we gonna break the fucking world right now if we ask you Marvel or DC?
No, you know what? When I was a kid, it was DC. When I was a teen, it was Marvel. When I was angsty and wanted to know what it all meant, and it was Punisher, and it was, it was all of that. It was people in leather and tights. And then come my 30s, the romanticism of Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman came back around. But also in my 30s opened up a world of non-superhero comics and slice of life books.
And that's what you said to me off air. Is there's more to it than just superheroes?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we,
for
100%.
sure.
we call
Yeah.
that Flights and Tights.
Okay.
Those
Yep.
are those are Flights and Tights
Yeah.
comics.
Yep.
Then there's something called Slice of Life comics that are not supernatural, not
Yeah.
fantastical. They're just a day in the life of a normal human being. And then there's somewhere in between. So I'd like to think there's something for everybody.
You
Yeah.
mentioned Punisher, and I have to say, John Bernthal was a fucking great Punisher.
Marvel.
Did you see it?
Oh yeah. I do,
Fuck
dude,
me,
I,
man.
I watch
Come
everything
on.
based on comic books. Honestly, Marvel, more than anything that they have done, their casting has been so brilliant.
Phenomenal.
When I was a kid, there was a book called Wizard Magazine, and in the middle of Wizard every month was something called the Casting Call.
Yep.
And it was just nerds writing in on who they wanted to see play who. And it was always like, yeah, man, that's perfect. And I think they were kind of listening. They listened to the nerds. And Doctor Strange, who knew that he was going to play that right?
Oh, they hit it
That was-
right on.
Yeah,
Right?
that was perfect.
For sure.
Couldn't be more perfect.
It's all been perfect.
Yeah.
Ant-Man was gorgeous. Like everything Black Panther, he's
This was what,
perfect.
Paul Rudd?
Yeah,
Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Rudd was stellar,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
had you told me it was going to be Rudd, I would have been like, meh.
You would have thought, like, okay, 40-year-old virgin.
Yeah,
Like, no,
yeah, pass.
it's not going to work. He's not going to work.
But
If
it's
I hear Michael McDonald one more time, I'm going to put a bullet in my fucking brain.
but it's worked for them every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every role that they've gone with, and then you get DC Comics picking Keanu Reeves to play Constantine.
Or Christian Bale.
This is what I'm saying. You know what? Yeah,
I kind of like Constantine. I gotta say.
shame on you. As a movie, as it
yeah.
stands alone, fine.
Yeah.
But Constantine, the character, was supposed to be based on Sting. Put a picture of Sting and put a picture of Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
They are the polar opposite.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
They're
But
not even the same
Keanu
kind
Reeves-
of human.
As John Wick, phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He filled
Yes.
that role perfect.
You're
Yes.
absolutely right.
And by the way, you were talking about Bill and Ted earlier.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted have Face of Music coming out
Yeah.
now, like next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next month.
And a comic,
September.
and a comic to go with it.
Oh, really?
A prequel comic.
Do you have it?
It hasn't come out yet.
But
Are
you're
you
going to
gonna
get it?
Of course.
Yeah. We had the same thought
yeah,
process.
I know, right?
Are you getting it? Yeah.
Of course we are.
Of course he's gonna get it.
You know what? There are an incredible amount of comic books that fill in the gaps of stories that you love that you don't even know exist. There are a ton of
Oh,
Back to
yeah.
the Future comics.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so Telltale made that fucking shitty game.
Crap. Yeah.
Oh, it was fucking garbage.
But there are a couple different series that are really good. There's a 4-issue miniseries called Star Trek Countdown that leads up to the reboot of the Star Trek movie that made the movie 10 times better. There's a Predator 4-issue miniseries that comes after the Adrian Brody movie that made that movie 10 times
Oh,
better.
yeah, okay.
So, and there are a lot of TV shows that got canceled ahead of time that they've finished in comic book format that you don't even know about.
Okay, so off air, you have to write down all the Back to the Future things. And I swear to God, right now, if you can get me a copy of the almanac, sold.
He's gonna
Sold
get it.
immediately.
I could
Fucking,
prob- I could
here's,
probably-
He's coming
I'll-
tomorrow.
I'm giving you my credit card on air right now.
There you
Yeah.
go. I'll
Take
read
it.
that off shortly.
Take.
But yeah, I mean, even Buffy that was canceled 12 years ago continued on in comic books by the same creative
Really?
team for years.
See,
after.
and that's the thing is, I never heard of it.
What?
I never heard of a Buffy comic.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know
it's
the
still
show.
going.
I thought you didn't even hear.
Because
of
then
the show.
Angel and Bones, they were spin-offs or something, weren't they?
Angel was for sure.
Angel.
And Angel's got comics as well. So all of the
What a Green Arrow or the Arrow or whatever.
sure.
Yeah.
Terminator has comics. Cobra Kai has You'd be surprised at the American Wet Hot Summer. I don't know if you guys ever watched it.
yeah.
What's the one you
Has
told
a
me?
comic?
Lock and Key?
Well, yeah.
Sure, but it was a
talked
comic
about-
first.
Yeah, it was a comic first.
Yeah, but I
And a-
don't
and a
even know what
better
that
comic.
is. Like, I've never heard of it.
That's
Written by Stephen King's son.
Stephen King's son. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's stellar.
Stevie Jr.? What's his name?
Actually,
Chuck?
Joe Hill. He actually
Hill,
did
yeah.
not go by his daddy's name.
Wow, that's weird.
No, that's really commendable.
Really? But making it on your own instead of
Yeah.
using the King name?
Do you know that King did that?
What?
King, in the middle of the height of his career, he went off and wrote 4 or 5 books under a name Richard Bachman.
Okay, no way.
The Long Walk, The Running Man, all written under a
Running
pseudonym
Man.
just to see if he could sell copy again. And he did pretty well, but then the internet was just kind of
Yeah, I
new
was
at the
gonna
time.
say, did people catch
and he
on?
got busted. But
Okay.
he wrote under a pseudonym.
So,
For,
somebody figured it out.
yeah, but I mean,
Writing style
Arnold
is the same.
Schwarzenegger's Running Man.
What?
It was written under Richard Bachman.
That's insane.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, Stephen King.
So, Shawn, before we get to go here and end the show, if people want to reach you on socials, how are they going to get a hold of you?
Well, we're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. On Facebook, we have both a page and a group. The page is for the casuals, for the people who want to know when there's a sale or a signing or something wonderful going on. And the page is for the extreme nerds who just want to talk about who can beat up who. And the
Lots of verbal
and the
bashing going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what is it? It's Rogues Gallery Comics.
Correct. Group or page on Facebook, and I think it's just Rogues Gallery Comics for both Instagram and Twitter.
And if they want to reach you at your store, it's 327
Chatham Street West. You got it.
in Windsor, Ontario. So there you go. You have a website too?
Yeah,
So they can go to that?
I do.
What's the website?
rgcomics.com,
rgcomics.com, not .ca.
not .ca.
So there you go. So if you want to reach him, we'll post some stuff on our socials too. Links to all of his stuff.
Yeah.
Rogues Gallery Comics. Shawn Cousinea. If you want to reach us, the Two Dudes and a Mic Show, go to our website because I'm still quite proud of this.
You should be. You should be.
It's okay.
Yeah. twodudesandamic.com.
And it's whatever. Number 2, spell 2, and then Mike like my name, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. There you go. twodudesandamic.com. Shawn Cousinea, Rogues Gallery Comics. Thanks for coming in today, sir. Here we go. We're going to do these last shots. So everybody listen. All the dudes, male, female, everybody grab those glasses high. Here we go. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.